Hey gang, so today is a review and an attempted repair at the WJ Studio Brownie slider. This is actually loaned to me from a friend of mine to review, and we noticed at the same time that it's quite loose, so I'm gonna open it up and see if there's anything we can do to fix it. All right, it's the Brownie slider by WJ Studio. Let's go. Okay, so here's the Brownie. Now, this thing is not in good shape at all. That should not be happening. So we're going to open this up and see what the issue is. Now, funny enough, this literally just opened up as I was doing that. So I guess we can see exactly what's happening. Okay, so let's see. Let's get this ball out of here. I swear this literally just happened while I was looking at it. Wow. This thing needs help. Okay, what do we have? Well, we have a pin that was not screwed down properly. So this wasn't screwed into the hole. Let's get this out here. And I just want to make sure that part of the screw didn't like shear off inside. You can see there's actually some damage here, so somebody did try to, I guess, maybe screw in there, and we're gonna find out if this actually broke off or not. Wow, this is like the easiest opening I've ever had to do. Okay, well, here we go. So we've got the two balls that popped out. Let's get our springs out. Okay, let me get my... All right. So what do we have? We have Phillips. So let's get those out of there. Okay, do these work? There we go. All right. This is kind of weird. The fact that this starts making that sound when you're unscrewing it, that almost like the threads get caught. Or like sometimes it's stripped, so it won't come all the way out, but we'll see. I find a magnet is always the best way to take these out. Okay. It's the one that was making weird sounds. There we go. Okay. Let's pop this off. There we go. So what do we have? Well, I mean, this is a very basic screw, obviously. Isn't that interesting? There's room for magnets. There's something in there. But there's no magnets in here. So that's actually really interesting. Balls, maybe? I mean, I guess you could put balls in there. You could give it a bit of a ratchet sound. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is test to see if this post is even going to screw in there anymore. Now again, another type of bit, so we got more of a torque. So first thing we want to do is actually let me just try it even without the insert. Okay, so I know the hole is good. So this is really the only thing we have to do. Now the issue here, of course, is that if you put it down too hard, it won't slide anymore. So let me get this together first and just see. That's probably going to be good. Okay, so we know that this works. And really the trick is to just give it a little adjustment so that you're not, because if you go too tight, this won't even slide and then it's ruined. So you want to just have it make contact That's about it. Now, the problem with that is it means that these are prone to loosening, right? So what we're probably going to do is just put a touch of Loctite in there. Now here, let me see. I just want to make sure I'm kind of comfortable with how much pressure I'm putting in here. Now, the nice thing about blue Loctite is it is never permanent. Blue Loctite is, you can loosen that up really easily, which is why most of us use blue, so that you're not really committing, you're just adding a bit of extra pressure. Yeah. See, even like this, I could just leave this way. The issue is that it will likely loosen up again. So we're just going to put a tiny dash of Loctite in there. Okay. Okay, so the first thing I do when I'm dealing with any kind of liquid that has the potential to stain, I don't like using the cork boards because it'll stain it immediately, and then it's super annoying, and you've got this thing stuck there that you have to, I don't know, try to clean out, and I don't like it. I don't like to do it. So I use just like any kind of mat. This is just like a kitchen cutting mat, but it's nice. It's rubber, and in fact, nothing moves around on it. I would have even considered using this at one point for video reviews, but as you can see, the gray makes it a little tricky for things to stick out. The one bonus to it though is that things do indeed kind of stick to it, which is really nice. This is a little bit of a trickier process because if you have any Loctite that's sitting on the inside of the screw, it's going to stick to the plastic plate. And we don't want that because there can't be any friction here. So I'm just going to add a dab right inside the hole. Just a tiny, tiny amount. And I'm going to use the swab. I'm going to soak up most of it. So you can see here, there's just a tiny, like the smallest amount. So I've got good sliding here, and there's just a little bit of Loctite inside just to keep the thread in there. It's not to keep it tight. Like I'm not tightening the screw down. I just don't want it to turn anymore. But again, because it's blue, like this stuff, you can even see here, removable. So blue Loctite is removable. It's like if you used a piece of tape or a piece of gum to keep something stuck, you can still pull that off. But as long as you don't mess with it, it keeps everything in place. That's all blue Loctite is. Okay. So now we have our screw in place. We're happy. We'll get this guy out of here. We'll bring our board back in. And let's just go right back to what we were doing before. So we get a ball inside. And again, this is important to remember this process because the ball has to go in first because it rubs along the track. Then the springs. Again, these are Phillips. Of course, one-handed. Now these are pretty simple to put in, so these don't really need Loctite, at least that I've encountered with this particular slider. That's it. So when it's actually working the way it's supposed to, it's a nice little slider. Now these always will have this, a tiny bit of give, and that's typically because if you push down on it, you're pushing down on the ball and the spring. You know, it's not like a super tight fit because that ball and spring is pushing against it. Again, you could tighten this more, but you're going to run into the track not running or not gliding as smoothly. So it's always a balance, right? Of at least with this particular one. I could go tighter with it, but because this isn't mine, I don't want to mess with it too much. This is, again, is borrowed from somebody. So we're just going to leave it here. It's not coming apart. The screw is in there. The Loctite is keeping it together. And that is just, that little bit of gap is just from the design. It's just because this is running along a track like that, this Teflon track. I find a lot of fidgets with these sort of Teflon tracks eventually just kind of loosen up. But this is working fine now. All right. There you go, gang. That is the Brownie slider and how to fix it up if something ever happens to it. Okay, thanks for watching.